In the vast, untamed lands of 1847, where the cold could strip the breath from your lungs and survival hung by the thinnest thread, 8 souls set their sights on the head of the Trinity River. Whispers of a mighty buffalo herd pulled us forward, but little did we know the wilderness had its own plans, and the real test wasn't in the hunt, but in what lay beyond it.
It was December of 1847 when 8 rugged souls, weary from the long trails, decided to take a respite from their wanderings. We had heard whispers of a mighty herd of buffalo roaming the head of the Trinity River, just waiting for a band of cowboys like us to come and test their mettle. With the promise of adventure sparking in our hearts, we made meticulous preparations, ensuring our camp was stocked with provisions and our saddlebags filled with ammunition. We had a trusty team of horses, strong enough to carry us through the rough terrain, and we were ready to face whatever the wilderness had in store for us. After a long day's ride, the sky darkened, casting an ominous pall over the open prairie. We set up camp near a small grove by a creek, our spirits high despite the north wind's icy breath. The herd of buffalo was close, their silhouettes barely visible in the fading light, and all of us felt the thrill of the hunt coursing through our veins. Guns were loaded, knives sharpened, and we gathered around the fire, the flames dancing and crackling against the chilling winds. As dusk settled, we made a pact. Each man would choose his buffalo, and at the crack of dawn, we would charge into the wild. When morning broke, the herd was on the move, a vast sea of dark shapes against the pale sky. With a roar of gunfire, the hunt began. Bang, bang, the shots rang out, echoing across the open plains. But as quickly as it commenced, the chaos faded. The buffaloes scattered like leaves in a storm, and soon silence reigned, broken only by the howling wind that grew colder by the minute. As the sun dipped low, we returned to camp, our hearts heavy with the absence of one among us, John Rotman. The fire crackled, but his seat remained empty. By dark, the sleet began to fall, and the temperature plummeted. 3 buffalo lay lifeless at our feet, but John was still out there, lost in the bitter cold. We fired off rounds into the night, hoping he might hear us, but the only response was the mournful howl of the wind. By midnight, the sky had cleared, but the cold was unforgiving. We kept our vigil, firing our guns into the void, but the night swallowed our calls. Hope began to dwindle as the hours passed, and the chill seeped into our bones. At dawn, we resolved to search for John, though none of us held much hope of finding him alive. 4 of us mounted our horses, firing off rounds at intervals, praying he would hear us and find his way back. It was high noon when, to our astonishment, we heard a reply, a faint echo of gunfire in the distance. Our hearts raced as we spurred our horses, racing toward the sound. We found him weary and frostbitten, stumbling on foot, dragging a hide, a good 10 miles from camp. We took him behind one of our mounts, urging our horses back to camp, arriving just as the sun dipped below the horizon. The fire crackled to life, and we gathered around, eager to hear John's tale of survival. He recounted how he had followed a massive bull for miles, firing his rifle until it finally fell. In the confusion of the hunt, he had lost his way. Darkness enveloped him, and the cold was relentless. Numb to the bone, he realized he had to act quickly. He tied his horse to a bush and stripped the hide off the buffalo, using it as a blanket against the frost. As he wrapped himself in the woolly pelt, sleep overtook him. But the peace was short-lived. At daybreak, he awoke to a chorus of tips and growls that only belonged to a pack of hungry wolves. The beasts were bold, circling the carcass, their eyes glinting, saliva hanging from their mouths. The larger wolves attacked the buffalo with full force, while the smaller ones lingered. They tried to approach, but were quickly dismissed and disciplined. The smaller ones then turned their attention to the hide he was encased in. They first circled, sniffing the air, and as a repetition they attacked the hide in the same manner from all sides. John was jousted around from side to side. They gnawed at the frozen hide, some to a fancy, and tried to claim him by laying over parts of him. Fear gripped him, and at times he hollered out the whole. This would confuse them. Their heads would pop up and look around, surveying the surroundings, but nothing to be found. This happened several times as the wolf's teeth clicked closer and closer to his head. He laid there, powerless, unable to move to defend himself but his voice. As the sun moved higher in the sky, the hide started to loosen. About that time, by some miracle, or God was listening to his pleading prayers, the alpha gave a low howl, and the pack moved on. John said he waited till he couldn't hear them anymore, and made a move to wriggle free. As he stood and surveyed the damage, he saw most of the bull was eaten. He looked down at the hide and saw wet spots and many holes. He walked over to where he tied his horse, only to discover it had succumbed to the cold, leaving him stranded and alone on foot. "I reckon that's how the wild works," he said, a weary smile creeping onto his face. "You either adapt or you become the prey." With John's tale woven into our memories and a hide to prove it, we realized that the hunt was not just about the buffalo. It was about the bonds forged in the wild, the respect we earned for nature, and the wisdom we carried back with us. As we huddled around the fire, sharing stories and laughter, we knew that this hunt would live on in our hearts, a testament to the spirit of the cowboy, a spirit that endures no matter the trials faced on the open range.
The wild has a way of reminding you who's really in charge. Out there, we learned that a cowboy's strength isn't just in his gun or grit, it's in the way he adapts to the wind's whim and finds his way back, no matter how far he's wandered. As John put it best, you either adapt or you become the prey. Thanks for riding along on another Banta story, a tale of courage, survival, and the unyielding spirit of the frontier. If you felt the chill of the winds or the weight of the hunt in this story, hit that subscribe button and stick with us for more rugged adventures. And if you want to help keep the flames of these stories burning, share this channel with your friends. Every like, every comment, every share, it all helps keep the spirit of the wild alive. Till next time, keep your powder dry, your saddle tight, and remember, when the wild tests your grit, trust your instincts and keep moving forward. Because just like John, it's not the cold or the wolves that'll stop you, it's giving up that does.